All right, everybody, we've got Bo here. Our first question is from Bill Cameron.
Hey, Bo, talk about the relationship now that it's been a little bit of time with coaches Harsin and Bobo, and then as a follow up, just how do you react to the doubters, the skeptics that think they've seen the best of Bo Nix?
Oh, well, your first question, Coach Harsin and Coach Bobo, I've really enjoyed getting to know those guys and what they bring to the table as far as being coaches. And they've coached in many different situations, many different conferences. And so they've been around college football and they know exactly what it's about. Coach Harsin, obviously, all his success at Boise and everything he was able to do with that program. And then Coach Bobo with everything he's been able to do from an offensive standpoint and all the quarterbacks that he's been able to coach. And so just being able to learn from them is I'm going to really enjoy. I know moving forward, and especially this offseason, as we didn't have so much recruiting and they didn't have to go out so much, I could really kind of be around them more often than probably normal. But as far as your second question, there's really nothing you can do about it, to be honest with you. Everyone's always going to have something to say, positive or negative. One thing that always just sticks out to me is even going to the cross, Jesus had people talking bad about him. So if they were talking about him, then they're going to consistently talk bad about me, that's for sure. But like I said, there's nothing you can do but just continue to work and put my head down and do what I'm supposed to do and just do whatever I can to make my team better.
Thanks.
Next, Gianna Hahn.
Hey, Bo. So you've had a lot of transition during your time here from being a freshman to a new coordinator to a new coach, and Brian Harsin said that he also had a lot of transition while he was a player, and so he really understood what you're going through and wants to try to ease your way. What has he done to make that transition easier for you? What has he told you about his experiences?
Well, he's done a great job of being in constant communication with us and allowing us a good a platform to have a good relationship with him, and he is very open, and he tells us, hey, if you ever need anything, just let me know and I'll make it happen for you. And so he's very a personal guy. He's very relational. I think that's one thing that sticks out about him the most, is how he cares for his players, and he's very attentive to detail, and he looks at the little things very carefully, and that's what's made him such a good coach. And like you said, I think he went through 4 different head coaches, which is quite a bit for a college career, and so he knows exactly what we're going through. And I think that speaks volumes when a coach knows exactly what the player is going through.
Justin Ferguson.
Hey, but what's the one biggest thing you're looking to improve the most here during spring practices?
That's a great question. Obviously, as a quarterback and as a competitor, I really want to, really everything, every part of my game, I want to get better. I want to be consistent, especially from the pocket, and gauging my receivers. And obviously, we've got new receivers from last year. A few guys have moved on. So gauging those guys and their speed, adjusting, helping those guys out as they're learning a completely new offense as well as I am. And so just getting on the same page with those guys, sticking in the pocket, making throws, because I feel like this spring is going to be really good, because like last year we didn't have one. So this year, the extra practice time to sharpen up on some things, and my feet, having quick feet, and just the little things that go in part of playing quarterback.
Tom Green.
Hey, Bo, you kind of touched on it, but going into year 3, this is your 3rd year for an offensive coordinator. You didn't get a spring last year. Just how important is this spring for you and your development after the last 2 years?
I think it's huge, especially if I'll take advantage of it and make the most out of it. And what I'm really focusing on is just, like I said, my technique and my attention to detail, and making every rep, making every play count. Because like you said, even though I have had 3 different OCs, that's going to be probably for the rest of my playing career. Coaches move around quite a bit. That's just the nature of the business. And so I think it's good for me now to learn how it works right now, so I won't be shaken up with it later. So I think however it goes, just making sure that I'm learning the offense how I'm supposed to, and know the ins and outs of it, so I'm prepared every day so I can get better and I can make strides this spring and take it for my advantage.
Tom Green.
I just went.
Oh, I'm sorry, my fault. Nathan King.
Hey, Bo, you touched on it a little bit, but obviously Eli, Seth, Anthony not here anymore. You had them for a couple years. What are you planning on doing this spring to kind of develop a good chemistry heading into the season with that, like you talked about, that group of new receivers?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, I have had those guys for 2 years, and so this is kind of new group, if you would say. But they had good reps last year. They learned from the guys ahead of them, so they're ready to go and they're excited for their opportunity. And those guys are extremely competitive, like I am, and so they're going to do whatever it takes for them to be ready, so they can compete at a high level. So I'm working on focusing on myself, making sure that I'm transitioning well with the new offense and I know what I'm supposed to do. So then eventually I can start helping those guys out. But obviously this spring, it's their time to kind of grow too. And so they're going to go through some things for themselves. And I just got to be there for them and be consistent on my end, put the ball where it needs to be, and just help those guys grow.
Jordan Hill.
Talking about Coach Harsin and Coach Bobo, two guys that played quarterback and obviously have experience coaching quarterbacks. Just what did you sort of know about them before they came on here at Auburn, and how exciting is it to know that those are two guys with a lot of experience at quarterback?
Well, they've had a lot of experience, and they've also had a lot of success. When you look at Coach Harsin, he's coached some good quarterbacks, and they have done a really good job in his system. And he has won a bunch of games, and I think that speaks to his leadership and him being a head coach and just how he wins, and I think that's important. And then Coach Bobo, on the other hand, he's been through, obviously his time at Georgia, he had some really good quarterbacks and produced some good offenses, and he's very multiple. Both of them, they're very multiple, and so I'm excited to learn different things, maybe try some different things, and at the end of the day, they'll put me in a great situation, and I'm confident of that.
Mark Murphy.
Yeah, Bo, from your perspective as a quarterback, how is this offensive system you're learning now different from what you played the last couple of years?
It's different. Obviously, we're going to have some carryover because a football play is a football play, and most offenses run the same things, kind of similar to defense. Every defense is going to run consistent things, but they're going to have a little tweaks in there. So it's just learning those little things that are different. May go a little bit more under center and stuff like that, more than what we've seen in the past. But at the end of the day, you're either running or you're throwing, and so that part's going to be similar. It just maybe the presentation will be a little bit different.
Brian Matthews.
Hi, Bo. Coach Harsin talked a lot about implementing his culture. How have things sort of changed in regards to workouts, discipline, accountability since he's arrived?
Yeah, he's come in very passionate, very relentless. He's very attentive to detail, like I said. He's extreme when it comes to that, which is, I think, what we really need. We have some young guys that kind of have to take the next step, as we've talked about, to be in important roles for next year. We had some key guys move on, and so some guys returning on defense, which is good. And so those guys, the attention to detail and all those little things to build the culture is extremely important. And I felt like we've done a good job of that up until this point. Now going into spring ball, we're going to continue with that. But like we've touched on a little bit as far as the weight room and how it's been a little bit different. Workouts have been tougher. And so certain things like that have just been different. So we can just continue to grow and be tougher and work on building the new culture.
Jeff Spiegel.
Well, I guess counting your dad, this would be like the fourth offensive coordinator in the last 4 years. But I guess one of the advantages of that is, you learn some things from each guy. You're, very smart coaches. What do you think has been your biggest takeaway so far from the coaches you've worked under? And what do you expect to learn the most from Coach Harsin and Coach Bobo?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, had a good foundation in high school from my dad. He really taught me everything I knew up to that point. So when I went to college, I had Coach Malzahn and Coach Dillingham, who from my first year at Auburn, they did a good job of kind of simplifying it for me and making it very easy to understand so we could play fast and not get too out of control, and so we could be good at certain things and not have to like go everywhere for a bunch of different things. So I learned a lot about defenses with Coach Dillingham, and especially on the college level, how different defenses are on third downs and things like that. And then Coach Morris came in with similar stuff, but obviously it was different because he had moved on and kind of grown his different offense. But it was similar. It was still the spread stuff. Learned a bunch about him and how he uses motions and shifts and stuff like that. And so now with Coach Harsin doing the under center stuff, Coach Bobo, haven't really done that in the past, so that'll be fun to learn. And as a quarterback, as a football brain, I really enjoy learning anything I can about football, so that'll be fun. Because moving on, I want to either use it or maybe down the road coaching, I'll be able to come back to it. So just learning more football and just understanding the aspects of it. I've had 4 different coaches, but they've also taught me completely different things, which has been great for my development.
Got time for 2 more. First one's from Philip Marshall.
You guys, when you had beaten Mississippi State and a big win, and then all of a sudden everything changes. How difficult was it? 1, just what happened, and then 2, having to get used to a completely new coaching staff and new way of doing things.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, and change is difficult. Change is hard to go through, but sometimes if you take advantage of it, on the other side of change, you can it can present opportunity, and I think that's what we have right now. We have a great opportunity with our new staff, and we're all excited. We were excited to get on the field on Monday, that's for sure, and to be around different coaches, do some different things, and so to continue on with that, we're extremely excited, looking forward to the future. So like I said, change brings opportunity, and with that, you can look at it a few different ways. You can make the most of your opportunity, or you can look down upon it and let it get to you. So we're looking forward to the future, that's for sure.
Last one, Jordan Hill.
We had a chance to talk to Nick, and looking through, it looked like some of the offensive linemen were able to bulk up over the winter. Just what did you see from the offensive line as far as what they were able to do during winter conditions?
Yeah, I mean, felt like they did a good job of moving some weight. Obviously, offensive linemen, that's kind of what they do. They get down in the trenches and they have to move some big, heavy guys. And, I mean, there's no better way to prepare for that than lifting heavy weights. And we had a bunch of guys do some heavy weights on their PRs and things like that. So I think as a group we've gotten stronger. And if you look at their performance last year, all year they just got better and better and better. And then there in the middle we had some injuries, which kind of shook us all up. But by the end of it, we were back to being pretty good. And so a whole year of experience will be nothing but good for those guys. And I'm excited for them as they continue moving forward. And now they have some swag about them. They know what to expect, and they've seen a lot of looks. And so now they know how to communicate with each other. And we're just familiar and comfortable with each other. And I think that is extremely important when you're looking at an offensive line.
Thank you, Bo. Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.